I think about all the hard work the girls did, and I think about that this team has been the team all year that could achieve that. And it's their work and their determination this week is what made that happen. And I'm so proud of them, and it's an amazing experience for this group. You know, we were going in hoping to get 4th, 5th, and then to get 3rd, to jump 4 spots. These girls just have earned it so much and deserved it, and it's been an amazing ride, and I'm so proud of these girls. Going into conference last year was a learning experience for her. And she took that learning experience and made sure she made sure she wasn't gonna make the same mistakes this year. She swam smart, she swam her races, and she absolutely lived up to every bit of her potential this year. The mile was just such a fun race to watch because she, as always, swam her race and then about halfway through just completely took over and dominated the competition. 500, she had a battle in it. There was her, the NAU swimmer, and then the New Mexico State swimmer. And they were battling it out, and then her and the New Mexico State girl pulled away there at the end. And then 200 fly, you know, we were hoping she'd get the record that morning because it's really hard for her to come back at night, do the mile, and then an hour and a half later do the 200 fly. So we were shooting to get that record in the morning, and we were just off a little bit on it. So she's staring down that record for next year. But you know, she's just an amazing girl. She works hard. She's a good example for these girls. She raises the level of competition and the level of expectation. The girls respect her. I have a great amount of respect for her for how smart of a swimmer she is and how coachable she is. So, I mean, for her to be a sophomore is just puts the cherry on top that we know that we have 2 more years with her and to get to watch her success. Laura has a very big personality. For a small girl, she has a very big personality. And, you know, outside of the swimming aspect, she is a leader of this team. I would be shocked if she's not captain next year. She's brilliant in the classroom and has very high standards of herself outside the pool, inside the pool, in the classroom, outside the classroom. So she's a leader by all examples. You know, her work ethic and just the choices she makes. But she keeps the girls' spirits up. She's not one of those that'll dwell very long on a poor race, and that helps the other girls learn from that, because if you dwell too long on a poor race, your meet could be over before you know it, and then you've dwelled too long. So she really shows the girls a lot as far as the mental aspect of the sport, what you need to do to be successful. You know, we've always, diving's, and Mark will agree with this, diving's one of those events that it'll either make or break a team, and this weekend it made us, it helped us, and it put us in that first place position going into the second day. That's huge for us, to be returning all 4 divers, you know, and I know of course he's looking at some other divers for recruiting, and to be returning my diving coach of the year for the WAC conference, that's priceless, you know, because we know where we're going in next year. With diving alone, we know where we're going in, and that's on top. So it's you can't put words on how much that means to a team for the diving program to be sitting where it's at right now. Mark, hands down, deserved the coach of the year. It was not even a question, and I'm very happy that his WAC colleagues, the other diving coaches, recognize that and recognize that he earned that. But with the way the girls performed, no other team had all their divers score. I don't believe every single diver scored for every team. So, and Mark had all 4 divers scored at some point in time. And that's a lot of points for us. And so you can't put words on that. And like we said, talked about returning all of them. We just know what we're walking into next year. Zone E is the toughest zone in the Division I, because we have the Pac-12, the Mountain West, and they have phenomenal divers, and the WAC, of course, and then all, you know, the other mid-major conferences spread out in Zone E. I believe she can be top 24 in platform for sure. I believe she'd be top 24 in 3-meter. 3-meter just didn't go quite right with her at conference, and because she could have swept all boards. But she had one dive, and that just slipped out from underneath her. And so, truly speaking, if she hits everything right on, even better than she did at conference, I think top 30, top 24 finish, and that would be big for us. I don't know if it's quite close enough to make it to NCAAs, but for her to be a sophomore to finish that way bodes well for her next 2 years. We've always been a unified team, and we've always been a hardworking team. But they've taken their work ethic and they have applied it to their attitude, and by attitude I mean their confidence level. And that is what took these girls to this 3rd place finish. You know, when you sit at the bottom of the conference long enough, you start to wonder, can we do it? But then when we get to conference, and the best thing that happened to us was going into the 2nd day sitting in 1st place. Because those girls, those 20 girls on that team actually saw, we can't do this. This is possible. Yes, only 3 events have been done, and a lot more need to be swam and dove, but we can do this. And so we sat in the top 3 long enough that they got the taste for it, they got the confidence for it, and then they wanted it. And there was a complete shift of this team's personality and culture of this team this weekend. I mean, this team became one of the most competitive teams I've ever coached. These girls, you know, like I said, we've always preached about confidence and work, and we got to put it all together. Like I said, and these girls have always worked. They've always worked very hard. But the confidence and the mental aspect has always been floating around out here somewhere. And this weekend, it all came together. And it was a perfect storm for us. And sitting in that, if we would have gone in the 2nd day, 4th or lower, I don't know if these girls would have been able to pull out 3rd, because their mindset would have been different. Versus we go in 1st, and it's just, wow. You know, the girls, just the look on their face was disbelief. And then once they started to believe that this is yours for the taking and that you can do this, there was a whole shift. There was a complete shift. You know, girls no longer even cared about their times anymore. They cared about their placing. And that, times in our sport are important, and scores for diving are important, because the better the time, the higher score, better you're going to place. But in the grand scheme of things, 1st place is 1st place, and 8th place is 8th place. You know, so if you go in the 50 free at 23.0 and you get 1st place, but it's not your best time, you still get 1st place. And so that's where this team has shifted to, is that over the weekend you could just see that mind shift switch to, this is a team sport. We've got to pull this together. We got to get every point. And so it gradually built from winter training. Winter training is where I started to see that shift. And the coaching staff and I actually thought something special is going to happen at this conference meet because of the way our winter training went. And then as the season went on, you know, the last 2 months, the culture of the team, the attitudes just got better and better. They continued to work above my expectations. And then we got there, and that special thing, it happened.